Good evening, everyone. Good evening, as usual, Mazezoke here. Today is Tuesday, the 24th of February, 2021. You know, as the title suggests, in the last 2 weeks, there has been this confusion as to what was happening in Olu. There were some conflicting reports as to whether Olu was peaceful, whether people were attacked in Olu, or whether if there were incidences in Olu, who was involved. So many of us actually condemned the news and condemned the actions because we do believe that there is no need for military intervention in civilian spaces. And it's something I've been saying, and I've been saying these for long. But the whole narrative or the whole thing changed after I watched a video of supposedly the man who is the governor of Imo State, who is, or rather who ought to be the defender of the people. You know, in every society, people, do not get me wrong, in every society, it will be an absurdity for everyone to agree and to have one direction. It is an absurdity, and in most society it doesn't happen. There are a series of opinions. People disagree. I mean, even here, when I read, sometimes I go through the comment sections, I can see some people calling me anti-Igbo, and I can even read some saying that Mazi or Savo, you don't talk about Biafra. And I say, I mean, it's their opinion. However, something is very clear, and that I do not have any single apology. If you think otherwise, I am then sorry, because I couldn't help you and I cannot help you. And what is it? It is the fact that I am unapologetical Igbo. Igbo Gambo. Abụ m nwafọ Igbo. Amụrụ m n'ala Igbo, eto m n'ala Igbo, echiri m ọzọ n'ala Igbo. Abụ m chief n'ala Igbo. O nwere ife ọzọ dịka Igbo. Therefore, anything that has to do with ndị Igbo gives me grave concern. Okay? So that is on one part. Having said that, when I watched the clip today, I don't know, I think I believe the staffs published that video today also on Njenje Media. And when I watched this video, I was really taken aback. Hence, I said to myself, well, in Igbo we say, okay, nyara no kwanu newu anwa no gbole. Ekwuhe ekwu mele ọnụ. Anyụ ọkwa n'anyụ mele ike, anụ ọkwa n'isi mele imi. Anụghị nke ekwuru ekwu melụ ntị, mana ọrụ aka akwanụ mma ka ekwupụla ekwupụ n'ilo. Therefore, I must say, and I must say my mind. And as usual, before I get into the meat of the matter, I will take some, I appreciate those of you joining me this evening. Many of you, as usual. I have a No Weapon Prophet Elijah and D.A. Osadolo. Watching from Milan. If you could let me know where you're watching from, and if you could like this video and share this video, that would be much appreciated. But let me get to the meat of the matter this evening, people. I wouldn't make this video long, hence I would go into the meat immediately. So here we are, people. I saw this video where the governor of Imo State went to Abuja to meet the president. Now, he told the president, or rather he came to thank the president for sending in the Nigerian army in Olu. When I watched it, I said to myself, is it an evil thing or someone trying to belong by all means? Because there is another video where you can see the Niger Delta and they are threatening hellfire everywhere. I have not seen, and I believe that video was shot. I will show us that the other video. So I believe that video was shot in Bayelsa State. I can't imagine the Bayelsa State calling the Nigerian army to go after them, whereas their message was very clear. The same applies to the message of what happened in Imo State. Let's quickly look at that video then.
This is the second time in the year 2021, President Muhammadu Buhari is formally engaging Governor Hope Uzodimma of Imo State. The latest was for the governor to express appreciation to the president for supporting his efforts at restoring and maintaining peace and stability in Olu zone following the breakdown of law and order. It was on my invitation that the military came, and I did that.
Now, you clearly heard that. It was a direct quote. It says, it was on my invitation that the military came. So those of you saying that the military invaded the Southeast, or rather those of us that believed that because the center appears to treat us as the 5%ers, hence every single incident in our area, they send the military. But as you can hear, the governor of the state clearly, who came, I'll play that again, who came to meet the president, saying that he invited the military. He invited the military. I'll play that again.
In the breakdown of law and order, it was on my invitation that the military came. And I did that because I know the situation was beyond the local arrangement. We needed help, and the help was given to us. Those that came, through their intelligence, identified where these people were, and I can tell you, all the people are arrested, all the rifles recovered are intact. The people are under interrogation. Not even one soldier or one of those militants died in the process. And as I speak to you, the situation has come down to normal. People are now going about their businesses, and those caught will soon be charged to court. Let anybody politicize it, but I have a responsibility to protect the lives of my people. God knows, if I have the opportunity to see any man who is taking lives, I will confront the person head on. The governor also used the opportunity to clear the air on the reported arrest. And
now, I would continue the video, but let me quickly do this analysis. There are two striking things here. One, he said, he used the word militant, okay? Militant. I believe in reference here is the, what's it called? ESN. Put together by IPOB. I believe that is what is in reference here, unless I'm wrong, but what he said and his words that he's speaking up, or that he used the word militant. Okay, in the Niger Delta, we have the militants, those over time, or rather any agitate, or any armed agitation in the Niger Delta is considered militancy. In this case, if I may borrow his vocabulary here, he's using the word militancy for what the people in in Imo State. Therefore, he has to then invite them. You know, listening to his words, I was, it's, how would I say, it's quite painful. You know why it's painful? The formation, I've said this to many of them in the political corridor, and some of them will eventually watch this or probably watching. I've said this to most of them, and some of them that I have the privilege to speak to, that the formation of ESN is as a result of a direct catastrophic failure of the Southeastern leadership, or rather, put it the other way, of the Igbo nation. When the Yoruba nation formed Amotekun, I was one of those that initially, originally said, well, Amotekun remains an illegal entity until it is legalized. Some of us argued, well, it's about legality. But ab initio, and the main point is that Amotekun was a child of necessity. It was a child of necessity. Likewise, when the people of the eastern region were demanding that their farms were being invaded, the women folks can no longer go to the farms safely or feel safe in the farms, that they needed like forest rangers or a regional collaboration too. I know many times the Southeastern governors, when the issue of Enugu Airport came about, July 2019, and they talked about, actually before Amotekun, they were the first people to talk about the Eastern Security Network. But sadly, they could not agree on the structure, because the argument was, are you going to emulate the Anambra structure? Because Anambra structure, I tell you, I'm from Anambra. Anambra structure, in my view, works. So the question was, were they going to emulate the Anambra structure? If they had done that on a regional basis, these were what the people were yearning for. And in leadership, and that's when I feel sad, because in leadership, there are things you do in leadership, even if it's plausible, because these are your people. If the people are saying, we want as a region to have this, yes, please. Some of you watching me think, but if they had done that, wouldn't that have been an invitation to the federal? Of course, I understand that. Yes, we lost the war, and so what? So therefore, because we lost the war, we will no longer defend ourselves, or what? The point remains that the failure, I repeat again, the failure of the Eastern, or rather the Igbo leadership to come together and form a security outfit necessitated the IPOB getting involved in coming out with the ESN. That's my point of argument. You can disagree, but that's what I believe is the truth. Then, having said that, if you may recall, in January, I made a video that I directed to the governors, and I said, well, now that this has been done, it is time that the state assemblies and the governors come together and own this. They have to come together, find a way to own this. But rather than do that, it appears they are in an opposite direction to collude. I mean, what is wrong with us? Do you know, many of you do not know this, had the Yoruba leaders, their political leaders, not formed a Amotekun, you would have, within the Yoruba region, had a collusion where the people would have revolted, and what we have in the East would have happened in the Yoruba nation, because there was a vacuum. and nature abhors vacuum. And in this case, you know, rather than allow things to get out of hand, one would have expected, and that's what I still believe in. Listen, I'm telling you 1,000,000% my heart and what I believe in. What I still think needs to happen is there must be consultation, there must be a way to leverage what is happening, and so that we don't have these confrontations. There must be hold on, I'll take some. Okay. So there must be some, leverage here that we can actually look at. Honestly, I believe those of you that wield political power, please, I beg of us. I read, I don't know. I watch people saying, "Oh, okay." I watch people from North saying, "Negotiate with bandits, negotiate with this, negotiate with this." Why is it that it appears we as Republicans are the ones suddenly that have removed negotiation from our lexicon? How did we come to that point? How did we come to the point that we appear to be incapable to engage? Nothing has gone bad that it is beyond what the great Zik of Africa will say has gone beyond Mequatalism. Of course, everything, even at the stage we are, is still salvageable. But there must be, in order for that to be salvaged, there must be consultation and engagement that people have to engage, and people now need to take. I found it sad, and hence my saying it without mincing words, that I found it sad that the governor of a state made those statements.
Of Senator Rochester Okorocha saying he has no hand whatsoever in what has befallen the former governor of the state. You recall that before I became the governor, the Njenje administration set up a judicial panel of inquiry to look into accusations and allegations of lands, converting government lands to personal property, and then removing private lands from individuals and giving to other individuals. The judicial panel of inquiry chaired by a judge met and concluded their job. The white paper has since been raised. Institutions, the agencies that are involved with implementation are doing their job. I'm not directly involved. It is a position taken by government. There's a difference between governor and government. The government of Imo State sealed their property. And I think that if there's anything anybody considers that is not right, the person should go to court to address the issue.
Okay, so the reason why I don't want to I have addressed the issue of Okorocha the day we had, my hangout on Friday. You people called and said what you think about the issue between the Imo State government and the Rochas Anayochukwu Okorocha. On that, I don't want to dwell on the issue of Okorocha, but I allowed that video to play to that point to get to something where he made a clarification that there is a difference between government and the office of the governor, or rather the person of him himself as a governor and the government of Imo State. Now, question will be, so from the statement therefrom, it means he is the one, he said it, he is the one that invited the military, not the Imo State government. I found it also a little bit interesting that in all this, because it is always easier for us to blame the governor, knowing that they don't act alone. How come we have not seen any condemnation from the Imo State, assemblymen and women? How come that when we talk about to have a law on open grazing in the Southeast, I've said it the other time, we do not see, or rather, you and I keep ignoring the people that have the right to actually make that law. And I said, I wished that we would have the state assemblies actually debate these laws, pass these laws, then let the governors refuse to implement them. But here, you have a feeling from the governors, likewise from those that are within our circle, those we call our reps, those representing your locality within the state. So it is twofold. The blame is not only going to go to the governors, it must go to the people who are in various state assemblies, because it is a collective. The governor is not within the legislature. The governor cannot take the law cannot make those laws, but the legislators within the state are the ones to do it. Therefore, if we have a people not working for us, it's not only the governors that are not working for us. That means those people in the state assemblies are also not working for us. However, now let me show us this clip also. Now, think about this. Do you think this is what happened in Bayelsa State, I believe? And then do you think the states would have called the army to come and see them where they were requesting for this?
And the numerous military personnel dispatched to the Niger Delta region, which are raping, killing, and maiming the innocent people of the region. They have put serious fear in the minds of our elderly people because they are no longer safe with their own. Take over the government. Look at the security surveillance contracts taking place in our region. Federal government and these agencies in place, they have decided to shortchange our people. Now in our
oh, hold on. I think something didn't hold on. Let me the sound of it is a little bit wonky. Let me quickly do that again and believe I can correct the sound now. Sorry about that. I didn't know. Okay, let's see if he's going to play very well now.
No school, no potable water, no lights, no hospital, and access roads for our people to enjoy. Rather, what is visible as an individual achievement is the presence of military gunboats and the numerous military personnel dispatched to the Niger Delta region, which are raping, killing, and maiming the innocent people of the region. They have put serious fear in the minds of our elderly people because they are no longer safe in their own once peaceful communities. All for the government to take over our commonwealth from our resources. Look at the security surveillance contracts taking place in our region. Through the federal government and its agencies in place, they have decided to shortchange our people. Now in our territorial waters, it is an Israeli company that is providing waterway security, which we have competent hands with expert knowledge to manage and provide such security services. Look at the likes of Ocean Marine Solution providing pipeline surveillance contracts in a territory that has more than enough capacity hands to handle such contracts. Take a look at the Ogoni cleanup, just because it is a solely Niger Delta project. From 2011 till date, after the establishment and taking off of the project, no meaningful progress has been made because the government of Nigeria have decided to place politics above meaningful development of our people and the region at large. More than the region at large, more than the region And more than 100 staffs were unlawfully discharged from work in IPREP because the employee were majorly Ogoni people for the Ogoni cleanup. Look at the oil and gas sector and what is happening today in the gold mining sector in the Zamfara at the northern region part of the country. While the local mining licenses are being given to locals and state governments having full control and management of the entire.
So now this I believe took place within this week in Bayelsa State. Do you think for 1 second that the Bayelsa State government will now go to Abuja and request, please, I need you to send in some air force to come and bomb the hell out of these people here? That's what I want to drive at. Here is a nation that people have been told, go and defend yourself, do not be cowards. I mean, I didn't say that. You think I'm kidding? If your defense minister, the person in charge of your security, is telling you defend yourself, what are you going to do?
Is it the responsibility of the military alone? It's the responsibility.
Now, he's talking about defending yourself. And here he is asking a rhetorical question. Is it the responsibility of the military alone to defend themselves? To defend the populace? Is it the responsibility of the military alone to defend the populace? And the populace, and rhetorical question.
Everybody to keep alert and find safety when necessary. But we shouldn't be cowards. At times, the banditry will only come with about 3 rounds of ammunition. When they fire shot, everybody runs. In our younger days, we stand to fight any aggression coming to us. I don't know why people are running away from minor things like that. They should stand and let these people know that even the villagers, they have the competence and capability to defend themselves. But our own duty is to ensure no Nigerian is hurt, and we're capable of protecting the integrity of this nation. And I will continue to do it.
Anyway, the reason why I played this for us again to see, in making that point, and I'm now once more going to speak directly to the Imo State government and and your colleagues. I think it was wrong. It was, in my view, a bad error of judgment to have invited the Nigerian military to come and invade your space. If you are a father of a state, the same way people say that the president is the father of the whole nation, you are, whether people like the way you came to office or not, by the virtue of the position you occupy, the father of the state, there should be, the application of sticks and carrots. You don't apply sticks before carrots. You apply carrot before sticks. I believe, there are people within your entity, your government, that should know what to do, when to reach out. I believe it would be proper for you to reach out and with your colleagues and see how these issues could be done. I gave an analogy with the Southwest. The Southwest would have been in the same position we are today had the governors not been smart enough to move quickly. Sadly, the inability of the governors in the Southeast to have a regional security outfit led to the ESN. The deed has been done. It has been established. There is still room for that to be made right and things to be legalized. That is my position. So I do not for 1 second support the high-handedness, the way these things are being done. Whereas in other regions, you can see Sheikh Gumi going in the forest to negotiate with known terrorists, killing hundreds of people, rustling cows, doing all manner of evil. Now they're even justifying saying that not all bandits are criminals. I mean, to become a bandit, or I would rather say maybe some of the bandits are angels. Some of them are I don't know what to say. How come in the Niger Delta we saw the same thing? How come it is only in our place that we see this absurd? Are we trying to play to the gallery to make? I said at the beginning, I am an Igbo man and I have no single apology about being Igbo. And I will defend the Igbo nation with the last drop of the last blood in my body. I have no apology because that's what it is. That is the motherland. You know, some of you who still believe, oh, Nigeria, listen, there is actually Nigeria is just an argument. If we want anything to get to, if we want to really get somewhere, I've argued time and time again, we must look into this decentralization by going into regional governance. In 1963, it was 4 regions. But now, with the reality of things, it could be 6. Why are we behaving like this? Why? You know, not to speak on the fact that, you know, as it is, even everyone it's angry with the federal government. Everyone is angry. The you know, states, individuals, even those that really worked for the government to come on in the first place. People like Professor Woloshoyinka at some point is also angry with this government. Look at his statement.
Buhari does not appreciate the situation. He doesn't understand. I see no evidence that he understands how grave the situation is. I've said again and again that I don't believe he's in charge because it's not possible, in my view, for a head of state, a commander-in-chief of the armed forces, to say he's presiding over a nation and things get to this level. Something is critically wrong in the leadership, within the leadership of this nation. And that is where we civilians must come in. You must pick up the slack for our own situation, our own salvation. And this is one of the things we're engaged in. And that's why I resent this becoming individualized. Wole Soyinka is just another individual, just like another farmer, another student. And I want the people to understand this. What happened to me with this incident is just typical of what's happening to millions of people all over the country. And we cannot just sit still and say we're relying on central help when obviously it's not coming.
Exactly. If the central help is not coming, it's that simple. You see, it's tiring actually. The time we should use to drive serious conceptual, you know, developmental underpinnings. We're using it to discuss mundane things that ought to have, you know, by the nature of our growth, would have grown past this era. Consider state police, no. Restructure the thing, the whole entity, that people should go back to the regional government, you know, develop at your own pace. If you want to build 100 airports, it's your prerogative, as long as you've got the money. You don't bankrupt anyone rather than you. Have you ever seen that Scotland will be begging London that they want to build a new runway, or that? It makes me sick. Look at Welsh. How can Welsh now say, oh, tell London, oh, we want to build a new extension of M4? Or, man, honestly, I don't know. It's just, the whole thing, the whole thing is sick. People say, we are tired. The Yoruba nation are saying the same thing. The Midwest are saying the same thing. North Central are saying the same thing. The Igbo nation are saying the same thing. The Ijos, the Ibibios, the Efik, everyone is saying the same thing. We are tired. Allow us to come together and speak to ourselves and define how we want to, if we want to stay together, and how we want to stay together. That was what you promised in 2014-15. Now, anybody who says it becomes an anti-government, anti-party, anti-establishment, anti-whatever you want to anti-yourself. The nation is going down by day, drain, every day, death. It's, I see signs of 1966 everywhere. The people have become so intolerant that at every slightest provocation, houses are burnt, people are killed, people are maimed. Things you see before, remember before, you can see headers moving with, dengon that they normally use in catching, what's it called, grasshoppers and, or rather grasshoppers. No, grass cutters, yes, sorry, grass cutters. And some small animal. But here, at every slightest, even if it's a wooden den gun, everyone is charged. Do you blame the people? Once bitten, twice shy. What is wrong with the leadership of this nation? Talk less of the leadership within states. What is wrong? Sometimes it zaps, because it zaps so much energy. Because this is a genuine call that we are saying we've missed the boat. For the fact you did not, as the entity called governance, at that level, you missed the boat. Nature abhors vacuum. Yes, agree that you've missed the boat. I mean, it's sadly, because had you at the point that you decided to form security network, had you done that, we wouldn't have been in this, there wouldn't have been any need for any other thing to come in. But sadly, you missed the boat. People say this, someone has argued with me, yeah, but the Amatekun is not working. And I say, listen, in governance, like in medical field, there is what you call placebo effect, psychological effect. The people were psychologically rooting and clamoring for something to boost them and give them the morale that someone somewhere who they call leaders were listening. Yes, some of you will argue that, well, what is Amotekun doing after all? If the headsman engages them in a shootout, the headsmen have automatic weapons, they only have shotguns. And so what? For the fact that they have it, has some psychological booster for the populace. The same thing applies in some of you medical people listening to me understand that someone who is sick and believes, well, if I take medicine, it will stop. I have headache. If I take medicine, in most cases, even if you give that individual, as long as it's not a terminal or critical illness, if it's something like just normal headache, in most cases, if you give that patient, even if it's white chalk, and ask that individual to drink enough water, you have the tendency that that headache will cure. What he would have done is, he would have told those, if we had had a regional security outfit backed by the states, if they didn't veer off and started talking about the rubbish the IG came to sell when the old leadership of Ohaneze then with some bishops walked out and said, no, this is not what we agreed on. What we agreed on was to have and to come and fine tune how we were going to have a regional security outfit. Had you gone on to do that at that point, there wouldn't have been any reason to have what we have today. You can't imagine in Anambra State where we have that. I cannot see anyone, getting out and say, oh, I'm going to go to Ekulobia or Newi and attack the vigilantes. By the way, in Onitsha last week, we saw the videos of a woman who was arrested in Onitsha that she was abusing children or using them for ritual purposes, very lanky, hungry children that the woman has kept in captivity. Why I mention that is when you go back and watch that video, those that came for that arrest were not the police. They were the AVG, Anambra Vigilante Group. Those were the people that came out. So they work complementarily with the police. Since we've missed the boat, doesn't mean we can now throw away the baby with the bath water with the baby. No, please, all of you in the state assemblies listening to me, all of you, the governors listening to me, it is time to come together and dialogue. There is a way out. There is a way out. Bear in mind, you send Air Force, they come in, they don't know who they're going to shoot. Stray bullets can hit any one of us. Any life lost in the Igbo nation is our brother and is our sister. There is no need. Here we have a common enemy. Someone who is trying to overrun you, to take away the limited land that you have. The Southeast is only 29,000 square kilometers. Kogi State alone, 29,000 kilometers square. Oyo State, 28.3 thousand, close to the Southeast, entire Southeast. So what are we talking about? This little enclave, the smallest region in this nation, yet we are doing this to ourselves. No, now time to really liberate our mind and the thinking. Hate takes us nowhere, but we can engage. I found it appalling and I found it a little bit really upsetting, to say the least, the moment I watched the video, and proudly so that you're saying, oh, I invited the military. I mean, it's
danger.
It's not right.
To the unity of this country, to the breakdown of this country, it's not Igbos. It's not IPOC. It's not Biafra. It's not even Yorubas. It's not the Ijos. It's not Arewaiven. It is the husband. This armed headman carrying AK-47, and then also this Boko Haram. These two things are the things that are threatening this country. Boko Haram have been there for nearly 10 years. First World War didn't last up to 5 years. Second World War didn't last up to 6 years. This is the longest war. It's a war. And you know the thing that worries me about it? Every day they tell us they have disembarked, they have done this, they have done this. The war is being fought round and round. In the School of Infantry, the first lesson we are taught is that the only easiest way to defense is by being on the offensive. If I'm to advise Mr. President Onwa, I'll tell him that they are fighting a defensive war. They can't win that war. They must be on the offensive. Offensive means security. Intelligence must find out who are these Boko Haram, where are they, who are they. Squadrons of airport, and go and raid them in their place. Carry the attack to their homes. America will support us, Britain will support us.
So this is Elder, I call him Elder Iwanyanwu here talking, and he spoke the simple truth. We are not being fair, and we are just engaging in a cycle of war. Now, those who have declared war on the nation are being negotiated with, whereas those who have said peacefully, can we subject this argument to plebiscite, are being threatened and are being invaded in all manners. So at the end of the day, some of you when I read some of the comments, and I see some of you saying, Mazi, you are supporting one Nigeria, and I wouldn't say you need to go check your brain, because the issue with Nigeria is not about if you're supporting one Nigeria or if you're against one Nigeria. It makes no difference. The issue here is about your right, whether you are for or against. It is about your right. Those that invaded, or if lives were lost, if properties were lost, in their invasion, it didn't matter if you were for or against. So, take it away from me. My stand is that the system is kaput. The system is broken. The system is not working. The system appears not to have worked. Therefore, it is time that either we begin the dismantling of it, going back to regional governance the way it was in 1963, which I believe is virtually the serious alternative to, because let everybody stay on their own. When you had Nandaziki with Sadwana was, he was the one that drafted Balewa because he wanted to stay back home. He wanted to stay in Sokoto. He didn't want anything to do with Lagos. So why can't we go back to that time that we will have men, the only man that has risen and have taken the opportunity and has taken the task as it was? Emma Okpara, all these governors now walking around today, how many of them can actually boast, or how many of them can actually say that they come close to Emma Okpara? When we had Emma Okpara, we had regional government. We didn't have, sadly, the war didn't allow the ingenuities that existed in Biafra then to take part, because necessity is the mother of invention. There was others were living on imported life, but these were men who were basically rejected by a system. And because of that rejection, they made something out of their life. Therefore, again, in my concluding part here, I will say, I'll employ the governors of the Southeast to please. It's time to negotiate. It's time to call a roundtable discussion. No matter what, no matter on which side of the divide you sit, we remain brothers and sisters. We are brothers and we are one. We are the same Ndibo, we are Ndibo, we are the ancient people. So how can the ancient people be doing this manner of things to themselves? Whereas those that really have declared war on Nigeria are being granted amnesty, being, the other time, was it last week or last weekend, a couple of millions were paid. Millions.
You have seen what our colleagues in the Southwest are doing, and some of them from the Southeast. Some of us told them, with all modesty and humility, you are wrong. But the person that is most wrong is the governor of Benue State, my brother and my colleague, Governor Otto. He started all this. If you don't accommodate other tribes, we are also accommodating your tribes in Bauchi and other places. We have so many people working in farming in Alkaleri, farming in Tafawa Balewa, farming in Bogoro. Has anybody told them to go? We have not, because they are on inalienable right to be there. We have Yoruba people in Bauchi for over 150 years. And now, because a Fulani man is practicing the tradition of transhumance, pastoralism, he has been exposed to the vagaries of the forest, the animals, and now the cattle rustlers who carry guns, kill him and take away his commonwealth, that is the cows. Nobody owns any forest. The forest is owned by Nigeria.
You say where the problem is. Nobody owns any forest. The forest is owned by Nigeria. And I say, capital no. We own the forest. we own every single inch of land in my neck of wood. You can't just double. And I said this, you can't just walk into Kaduna, Zaria, anywhere, and just because you've seen an empty space, you just go take your pigs and begin to rear pigs there, and everybody keep quiet. No, that's somebody's land. If you want this, like my good friend Dele Mamoudou has argued severally, this is pure business. If you want to engage in this business, go acquire these lands, acquire them. And if we do not have governors who probably have sawdust somewhere, why is it that a state like Niger State that has 76,000 kilometers square, that is almost 3 or let's say 2.5 times the size of the Southeast. Enugu State is about 7.6 thousand kilometers square. So meaning 10% of the whole of Enugu State, could be dedicated to ranching. Or even if you want to do cattle moving around, so let it be that the whole of Enugu State, which is 10% of the state, could be dedicated to that. But we're not doing it. And this is what is causing this problem, because there is a direct link between cattle moving freely and the incident in Olu. There is a direct link. And the link is very simple. It's as a result of the destructions being done when these cows move. That is what has necessitated in the protection of the forest. Therefore, in those who have dedicated in protecting the forest, in doing so, the state government now thinks that they need outside help, outside the state, in order to deal with them. And my concluding part here is, people, I am of the opinion, and I have no, like I said, this is the 3rd time, I am Igbo. And anything that concerns Igbo, it concerns me. Ihe ọbụla na-echu ndị Igbo ụla, na-echu m ụla. Nke a na-echu m ụla. Ihe nna-ayọ ndị gọvanọ anyị, ihe nna-ayọ ndị steeti asembli anyị, ihe nna-ayọ ndị ọnụ na-elu n'okwu bụ, biko nụ, a ga-eneba anya n'ihe a. Na ihe amakwụnụ, ihe a ga-eme ya bụ ọnwụ. Ihe a bụ ihe nwere usoro. Ihe a bụ ihe nwere etu a ga-esi wee mee. Sọsọ ihe m nwa na-afụ, etu m si nebago ya anya tụne ya wee maa na ihe ọbụla ihe a ga-eji mee ya ka ọ dị mma bụ mkparịta ụka. Ka anyị kparịta kene na ụka. Ka anyị si kene na oke ihe a anyị emetaghị ya mgbe anyị kwesịrị ime ya, wee mekwenye otu ọ dị otu a. Ebe ọ dịghị otu a, kedu ka anyị ga-esi mezie ya wee na-aga ka ọ bụrụ na ana Igbo ga-adị mma, ka ọ bụrụ na ana Igbo na a ga-echekwa ya. Ọ bụrụ na unu mee ya otu a, ọ ga-enye aka ka ọ bụrụ na onwe structure. Ọ ga-enye aka ka e nwee ebe a ga-asị ndị nọ na steeti assemblies bụzi ndị ga-eje ka ha mee iwu ka ha wee kwado ya. Na ọ bụrụ na eme iwu wee kwado ihe ndị a, ọ ga-enye aka. Agaghị enwezi, maka na onwe iwu na-akwado ya, agaghị enwezi ebe ọ ga-aba anọkọtasị, na nke a bụzi na ndị a bụ ndị nke ndị a bụ ndị amachiri amachi. Emeenu m ana, ndị a niile bụ ụmụnne anyị. Nwanne onye na-agba ajọ ekwu, nwanne ya ka nkụ anya na-akọ. Ụmụnne m ga-eji ohere a wee sị anyị, biko ọ ga-adịbagodinu. On this note, I'll say thank you very much for joining me this evening. I wish to make it very, very brief. All of you that have watched me, if you like the video, that would be appreciated. If you can share them, let others know. Everything is not about Tigbo Zogbo. I am not for Tigbo Zogbo. Some of you who think that I read comments sometimes, I laugh. Mazi, you're weak. You're not supporting this, you're not supporting that. I say, listen, dialogue and trying to have a peaceful resolution of conflict and issues when it concerns you and when it concerns your safety is not weakness. You must be strategic, and we must be strategic in thinking and in the way we engage. On that note, I will thank you very much, all of you who have listened to me, and some of you who, everywhere I can see many of you from the diaspora listening to me. And I will say thank you very much for joining me this evening, and endeavor to join us in 2 days' time. I will be having a one-on-one conversation with Senator Njenje Abaribe. Now, if you wish, you can leave, once this video is uploaded after the live stream, you could leave your questions. If you want me to ask him some certain questions, you can leave the questions in the comments section. I will sure find time to go through the comments and save those questions. I would only ask us, my people, please, in our engagement with one another, we must see that there are various approaches to issues. No biogalanya, any befi, any bembuga. FW, mbuba achuba. It doesn't mean that mbuba hates the ogalanya. Neither is it that ogalanya hates mbuba. Nekwu and mekuninu. Abu nwafu Igbo. Ndị nwere ntị ha nụrụ. Udo dịrị onye ọbụla. Ụmụnne m, catch you phone.